This will be the third time I've done this episode because I'm trying to make it like pretty professional. Like, just kidding. So welcome back to the Life and Lessons of Us podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, and today I'm going to tell you about a little thing called community and why you need it. And trust me, you do, because I've experienced the lack of community, like no one around, just me. It sucks. So I guarantee you, community is pretty helpful to you. So without further ado, I will start telling you about that. So, way back in COVID, everyone lost their sense of community. I felt it, you felt it, like it was all online, everything was Zoom, like through a screen. That doesn't count. I mean, it kept everybody sane, that's for sure, but it definitely doesn't did not feel like anyone had a sense of community like already what it's 2024, 4 years ago maybe. That's crazy. Adult life just goes whoosh. Anyway, humans are social. We function better in a society, like they teach us in culture class or I don't I don't remember. It was so long ago. um we function better in a society. We just do. Anarchy doesn't work. Doesn't work. Um so if you're me, if you're like me, I meant, and you're 20 something, you're just like, where'd everybody go? Like, where do people hang out? Where do people meet friends? Like, in a community, guys. Like, it's that simple. And I didn't understand it before. And now I do, like having found a community that I feel has built me up and is building me up and like is almost not necessarily, but like guiding me in the right direction. And that's the kind of thing that I've been lacking. And when I found it, I was like, yep, this is it. Yep, I'm supposed to be here. Yeah. You just kind of feel it. Um, and, you know, when you turn 18, you're just kicked out of high school. You're going, what do I do now? Like, some go to college, some start work immediately. So, it's kind of like they don't teach you how to find a community because you're kind of forced into a community since like first grade. You've gone to school with the same exact people for 12 years of your life, and then you just leave and you're like, now what? If you go to college, it's kind of the same thing. You have almost a built-in community because you all go to the same school, you all root for the same team, you all are taking classes, like eating the same food in the same area. Like it's so much easier to find a community when you're stuck in one spot and people are kind of, you know, forced to cross paths with each other. Um, it's way easier. And that's why none of us have like really looked for it or like have experience looking for a community. You join a sports team, community built in, you know? And when you leave school, like people my age, I feel like it might be another issue for them. Like, because now they're out of college and like working, where do you find community now? Do you find community with your coworkers? Like sometimes yes, sometimes no. You got to find where you fit. Um, but I've been, like I said, lacking community for almost 4 years, and it has not been great. And when I found this community, I was like, oh, I can actually feel joy. Like I can feel that. Um, so yeah, you just have to find a community that works for you. Like I've been involved in a few things recently, in the past year or so. Uh, I was going to a different church group, same church, different group. Um, and this is where I found my community was with the second group I went to. Um, I had that sense of like, yeah, I'm all together with the same people and we're all going through similar things, but at the same time, we're not because like the age difference and like it just did not feel where like it didn't feel like I was supposed to be there as much as the other group does, where it's a bunch of people who are closer to my age and we're all dealing with common problems. Like, it's you. build each other up in the community. You understand the same issues, you have common goals. You know, we all want to be successful as young adults. So that's where I found my community, you know. That's where it was like, oh, everybody's like kind of in the same boat. You know, I can relate to these people because they're closer in age to me. Like I can have a conversation about things that are bugging me and like, you know, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I understand that." And it's you build each other up, you just do. And that's what I was lacking, the building up part. You know, I was like, "Oh, I can figure it out on my own. Like, I don't need anybody." You do. You can't do it alone. Can't do it alone. I mean, like I said, I know the difference between having a community that you fit in versus having no community whatsoever. Like feeling like you have no friends, you're lonely, you're depressed, whatever. That's how I felt. And then finding the community, I was like, dang, I can feel other things too. Still, like I can still feel other things. Good, great. You know, it's positive energy is just so contagious when you're around a lot of it, you know, that you just start acting positive. You know, it lights a fire under your butt. You know what I mean? And I was like, I need a fire lit under my butt. I'm like not motivated to do anything, you know? And now I'm more motivated because I've gotten advice from people within the group that I'm involved in. You know, I was talking about how I felt like I move 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. And somebody said that's still as long as you're moving forward, you know, and I off of that went, yeah, so even if you're walking backwards every once in a while, you're still gonna finish the race. Not it's not a very efficient way to finish the race, but it's a way. So, you know, if he hadn't said that, I probably would have been like, "Oh, I can only go backwards." Like, you know, it's things like that where you say something like that and people are like, "No, no, no. You'll still be fine doing that. It's just not as efficient." So, yeah, having that community is what, you know, can benefit your mental health and build you up. And you build other people up too. You know, you all have different experiences, but you know, we're all in one spot, so we're all dealing with the same stuff. We're all under a common goal, you know. So it's easier to understand and like get advice and be built up. So um I mean you can find community wherever, like college, sports, sure there's sports leagues for adults, like um where else? I mean, gaming. You can still find community online. I'm not saying you can't, but it's just less effective than an in-person kind of community. Like, you can find it where you work, where you live. Like, for example, I work at the Y, and I've worked there for a year, and community sometimes finds you. You know, like, yeah, I've lived here my entire life, but not everybody in town knew who I was my entire life. You know, um, so you know, finding that community at work and within, you know, the area that I live in has benefited me as well immensely. Like, you know, it's allowed me to kind of come out of my shell a little bit more, um, be more involved out of my house, like participate, man. Like it's as easy as that sometimes. But yeah, it's almost like community found me in that sense because I'm almost like the face of the branch at the front desk on Thursday, Friday. Like people know who I am. You know, people enjoy talking to me and they look forward to seeing me and stuff like that. Like that's new. That is pretty new for me and I don't hate it, you know? So I finally feel like I found the community that I've been lacking, you know, like from the church group that I go to, from working, like from online stuff that I'm involved in. Like you just got to find where you fit and it goes better from there. So that's going to do it for this episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.